Hey creators, welcome back to Craft Cocktails, the Private Reserve Collection. These are a series of one-on-one interviews, best served neat. Today we meet Caly with Pink Fresh Studios, Lawn Fawn, My Favorite Things, among others. It was a pleasure to get to know her. Hey, the best way for you to interact with me is to subscribe, like, and comment, and make sure you hit that notification button so you get more episodes as they are revealed. So let's get right to it. Here is episode 2 of Craft Cocktails, the Private Reserve with Caly. Okay, remember, I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to be uber confident. Things are going to be great. It's going to be great. So there. All right, here we go. My next guest can be seen designing for Pink Fresh Studios, My Favorite Things, Lawn Fanatics, and Pretty Pink Posh. She can also be found at Caly on Instagram. Please welcome Caly. Hi, Caly.
Hi.
So glad to have you join me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I always like to ask people, have you ever done anything like this before?
No way. I have done a few Zoom calls with some friends, but I have never recorded anything front-facing. So this is a little different for me.
Yeah. Well, I so appreciate the fact that you would be interested in joining me. Us getting to know makers like you is really kind of bringing out a new form in the industry. And I have to tell you, it means a lot that you would say yes. So welcome.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you asking.
Of course. So you are, we're talking right now from Orlando to Kansas City, Missouri, which is where you live. You have how many children?
I have 4.
4 kiddos. What are their age ranges?
My oldest is 13, and then I have a 10-year-old, 7, and a 4-year-old.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. And what is your husband's name, remind me?
My husband's name is Steven.
Steven. Well, I know that you and Steven have your hands full. What has it been like to be a parent during this quarantine?
Well, it's really no different for me because when I was working full-time as a pharmacist, I actually worked from home.
Okay.
So I been working from home 7 years before I stopped and then stayed home. And it's been a year, exactly a year. Actually, I actually quit my job a year ago next week. So
okay.
This is no different. My kids know that, I have my space and I'm working. So they kind of leave me alone and let me do my thing. And they're kind of independent, which is really nice.
That is great. Well, there's such a wide age range. They must be sort of at the point where they're starting to take care of themselves too, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. So we do want to touch on this pharmaceutical background. It is a part of your life. Always kind of had a dual life of creative person meets a person who has the smarts to be a pharmacist. Both has been a broad part of your life?
Yeah, I've always been super crafty, and the hand lettering stuff actually came first. I did that when I was really young. And I went straight into pharmacy school from high school because I was a bit of a nerd. And yeah, I've always been crafty on the side. And then I picked up card making about 6 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So 6 years ago, what was sort of the first thing that got your attention or grabbed you? You were a crafty person, but more specifically, what brought you into the industry where people got to know who you were?
I lived next door to a really friendly lady who did Stampin' Up. Decided to go all in with this hobby. And then I learned a bunch of things on YouTube, watching Christina Warner and Jennifer McGuire. And then something in me decided that was what I wanted to do. So I started a YouTube channel, started blogging, was putting out videos once a week, and it was all Stampin' Up. But, I was learning that there was this great big stamping industry that I didn't know about outside of Stampin' Up. So, yeah, it's really flown from there with me purchasing more outside of Stampin' Up.
Got it. What company first reached out to you to say, hey, we want to be in partnership with you? Was it through a design team?
It was Concord and Ninth, actually.
Oh, we love Concord and Ninth.
Yeah, I was a guest for them in 2017, January 2017. And then I went to the Whatever Craft House Craft Retreat that Lori Willison and Amy Colling host. So I met really wonderful friends there, and then got invited onto the Little Inker Designs design team. And so I did that for a while. And then the only team that I've ever applied for was Hello Bluebird. And that was a really great experience as well.
That's so awesome. So when you think about that jump that you made from sort of just being a person who was a maker themselves, I'm going to do a YouTube channel, then suddenly you were invited into design teams. There was sort of a next step, and it links back to the fact that you had always fallen in love with hand lettering. So how did hand lettering bring you to your next level of what you could bring to the craft industry?
Well, I really just hand letter for fun. I started, I think, in middle school. I got a little calligraphy set, had black, red, green, and brown, I think. And it was just old English calligraphy, and I just hand lettered Christmas, and then it kind of went from there. Like a couple of years ago, I picked up a class on hand lettering and brush lettering, so I started doing that. And one of my design teams, Pink Fresh Studio, Kinnery, knew that I was hand lettering, so she asked me if I would be interested in hand lettering some sentiments for her. So I did that, and it got created into a stamp set.
So we have fallen in love with your craft room. You've showed it to us before. How long did it take for you to build this space, and what did you know about what you needed when you started to build it?
So we moved into this house the end of April. And so I knew it was coming, and I started planning in my head what I wanted. And it's really all about storage. So lots of shelving, lots of cabinets, just to put everything away so that it can stay clean and neat when you're not using it. So yeah, everything has its place here.
Right. So
and then I've been over here, this one here, where I store things that are to be done this week or in the next few weeks.
Right. How do you keep all of your timelines together as far as hitting those deadlines? Do you keep a virtual calendar, a journal? What do you do?
Well, I have a virtual calendar, and every company is color-coded.
Okay.
Yeah, so as I do it, I put a strike through. It's on an Excel calendar that I created for myself. So I strike it off every time I finish, and I'm a work in order kind of a person.
Okay.
Say I'm doing MFT because the releases are every day for 5-6 days. And so when I work on MFT, I want to get every other company out of the way if it falls on the same dates.
So one of the things that makes Craft Cocktails what it is for us to play a game. Would you be interested in playing a famous Craft Cocktails game?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I have a new one for you. Last time, Ashley Cornell played The List, and we'll come back to that one. But I thought we would introduce a brand new game into the show today.
Okay.
So you get to premiere a new game. I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
so
no
Ashley played one game. You, my friend, are going to play I'm Gonna Score That. I think that's exciting. I think a new game is always a big deal. I love games so much, as you can tell. I should have been a game show host in a former life. So I'm just going to score that works just like this. It's familiar to a game that some people call closest to the pin. And it's where we take statistical images or numbers and try to get as close to that number as possible. So it's sort of like throwing a dart at a bullseye, and you want to hit that bullseye as close to that Q number as possible. And based on how you do, we'll keep you on a leaderboard as Craft Cocktails proceeds. We'll hope that you have the most accurate score if you get even close to scoring it correctly. Sound good? So Caly, let's start. Your first fast fact. Fast food restaurant McDonald's sells between 1 and 100 burgers per second. Caly, how many burgers per second are sold at McDonald's?
60.
60. Very close. Actually, the number is 75. So 75 per second. It's pretty close. You were a little under the target, but that's good. All right, so you get the gist of the game?
Yeah.
Great. Caly, pre-quarantine, Americans watched between 1 and 12 hours of television per day. Caly, how many hours of television do Americans consume in a day?
100.
Your numbers are 1 through 12 hours in a day.
Oh, oh my gosh.
So just 1 through 12.
I was thinking hours. I was thinking hours as in like total TV watching time.
Yeah, no, just in one given day, 1 hour to 12 hours. What is the average for an American?
4.
4. That is correct. 4 hours on average. So there's a point for you. You're on the leaderboard. That is awesome. We now officially have a game. All right, you're on the board. So you want to go for your next point?
Yeah, sure.
Great. This is your last one. Did you know that there are far less stars than trees in our universe? Yep, more trees on Earth than there are stars up in the sky. In a rounded trillion, so we're actually talking trillions, what number of trees are on planet Earth? I'll give you a help. It's either between 1 trillion and 6 trillion. So your choices are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 trillion.
I'm going to say 5.
5. The answer is 3.
Aww.
Okay. Well, hey, I thought that you did good. That was great. You're at least on the board. Somebody's got to come and get at least 2 in order to knock your name off the leaderboard as we continue with this. So really quick, before we go, I want to show everybody your amazing Instagram account. Tell me a little bit about how you take care of your Instagram account and what you go through in order to get the content that you do have.
Well, I always use the same backdrop. I don't know if that's an aesthetic thing for me or if I'm just being lazy. I don't change it out too much. I do change out the props a little bit, but my goal is to always put the card front and center, or my project front and center. So I like everything else to be bright and colorful. So that's the kind of content that I like to put out.
What technique are we seeing the most here? Lots of coloring from you. You do feel very comfortable in that space.
Yeah, I do a lot of Copic coloring, and I do a lot of watercolor too with florals.
Got it. What is a technique that you just struggle with? Like when people are thinking to themselves, I'll never be a design team member. What are some things that you even struggle with as a design team member for so many companies?
I love interactive cards, but I feel like it's kind of scary for me to make the jump to making one. And when I do, I'm always excited and ecstatic about it. You know what I'm not good at is using patterned paper.
Yeah. That's a struggle for a lot of people.
But
Yeah. A lot of people right now, I think, are trying to find ways to keep that into their media. And it is a challenge. I have to agree. I'm getting ready to do some Mother's Day cards where I think I'm going to try to add it in again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Caly, it's time for those closing arguments, and then I want to throw it over to another dude crafter and give him some love. But are there anything that you were hoping to share with us today, or anything for your closing arguments, young lady?
No, I'm really excited to be here. I love the crafting industry, and I love the relationships that are made, and I can't wait to just keep going with this.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and it's been a pleasure to get to know great people like you. Well, there are other great people in the world that I'm trying to hold up, and that's all the dude crafters out there. Yeah. At the end of every show, I make sure that I celebrate a dude crafter. Hey, everybody, I'm going to throw his title card up now. Be sure to know and love the amazingly talented JC Gaspar. He is an amazing creator. There's his handle. He deserves a follow. And he is working so hard on the front lines right now for this epidemic that we're going through. So showing him some love would mean a lot to me as well as to Caly. Caly, do you know him very well?
I don't know him very well, but I'm familiar with his work, and I think he's amazing. His videos are awesome.
Oh, so good and so adorable, but his content is so fantastic. So yeah. All right, my friend, it was a pleasure to share some time with you today. Thanks so much for being on Craft Cocktails, and know that I love you. I love your work, and I can't wait for people to see this interview. I hope you have a great afternoon, my friend.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, friend.
Bye.
Well, everybody, that's it. That's another episode. We got to meet the amazing Caly Person. Be sure to check out her 2 Instagram handles and follow her. Give her some attention and love, although you already are doing it, or I wouldn't have had her on the show. What a pleasure it was to get to know a little bit about her personal life as well as her professional life. This was fun, everybody. Stay tuned for more episodes of Craft Cocktails. In the meantime, let's stick together and have a great afternoon. Thanks, everybody.